Well, Geist Pinfold is lecturer in international security at King's College London. He's joining us from London. Thank you very much indeed for being with us on Al Jazeera. There are varying figures about the number of people who are still in Gaza City. I've seen one estimate that there is about 500,000 people still there. What are the risks to these people if this conflict continues in the way that we're seeing at the moment and Israel continues to push its way into Gaza City?
Oh, the risks are, of course, significant, and they're just going to be exacerbated as this campaign continues. Now, we don't know, as you say, how many Gazans are still in Gaza City. What we do know is that Israel's own military estimates are that around 200,000 Gazans will not move, will not leave Gaza City. That's for a variety of reasons. Some of them feel like they have nowhere to go. Others simply cannot afford to pay the rent that is often required to stay in these tent cities, because you have extortion by gangs, for example, and these Gazans are simply the most destitute of the destitute. And then you have the other numbers as well. The fact that, yes, there's 200,000 Gazans who won't move. This is a significant Israeli military operation. We've heard from Israeli press yesterday that around 2 IDF divisions are taking part in this assault on Gaza City. That is potentially up to 20,000 IDF soldiers. So this is a real escalation, and it is a sea change in how Israel has been fighting during this campaign in Gaza. Normally, we've seen much more surgical, small-scale operations. This is a real escalation, and it's hard, of course, to imagine that. And it's easy to forget it because of the desperate and dire humanitarian situation on the ground in Gaza after so long, so much fighting, so much despair, and a terrible humanitarian situation. But this will really turn things up to the next level. We will see Gazans facing more acute need than ever before. And the Israeli army, by the way, stuck in this position it does not want to be in, of not only having to fight amongst a sea of civilians, but also having to look after their welfare and their needs. This is something the IDF has constantly pushed back against the government, but has not received a credible answer or alternative to. So it's important to remember that this policy is opposed by the majority of Israelis. It's opposed by the Israeli military leadership, but it's being pushed through by Netanyahu and his far-right coalition.
We've also seen varying estimates of the number of Hamas fighters that are said to be still in Gaza City. Israel says that it's doing this primarily to try to defeat Hamas within what they are describing as one of its key strongholds. Nevertheless, the Israeli military is sending in, as you say, 20,000 soldiers on the ground into this. And I understand, of course, they're going to have various jobs. They're going to be deployed in various different areas. Does that give us an indication of the kind of resistance that the Israeli military is expecting, given the fact that Hamas has in the past proved itself very capable of a kind of street-to-street guerrilla-style fighting, as we've seen in the early stages of this conflict?
Well, I don't think you'll see that kind of, pitched battle military warfare that would necessitate so many soldiers to be deployed. As you say, Hamas has basically gone back to its roots. It was a de facto state controlling Gaza. It's now gone back to its roots as a so-called resistance movement, basically conducting a guerrilla or an insurgency campaign against Israeli troops. Now, the problem here is that Israel doesn't have any targets left to hit. Gaza has been destroyed. It's been flattened. All of the relevant government buildings, administrative buildings, police stations, etc., no longer exist. So what Israel will probably find it's doing is that it's throwing its troops at a problem that looks like a conventional one, but is actually very much an insurgency, as Hamas will go to ground and it will go into those tunnels. The key problem here for Israel's leadership is that the Israeli military has said time and time again that this puts the remaining hostages and captives' lives in danger, not just through friendly fire, through Israeli strikes, but also because Hamas may kill those captives and hostages as Israeli soldiers come closer. So there are enormous significant costs and challenges to an operation like this. And the reason the military are against it is because they said, look, you have all these costs. There are very, very few tangible benefits. And that shows you really that this is not about this does not have military logic. It does not have strategic logic. It's a political. It's got a political logic for Netanyahu to stay in power, to deflect from his ongoing corruption trial. The courts and the Knesset will start up again soon. Netanyahu's strike last week in Doha on Hamas leaders I believe that was an attempt by him to climb down from this escalation ladder by being able to claim a scalp from a targeted assassination, someone like Khalid Mashal, who is a household name. Because that operation failed, he now feels like he has no choice but to go into Gaza City to do exactly what his coalition partners have been asking from day one.
Really interesting to get your thoughts on this, Geist Pinfold. We appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.